Hi, my name is Tracy Bish. I'm a Pilates instructor, an energy healer, a photographer, an artist, and a lover of the earth. And today I'm here with part two of how to make a dream board. So I wanted to first start off by giving you a few examples of dream boards that I've done. So this is a small one that I've done. It's a size about 8 by 10 and I've put it in a little frame. I did this on foam core and it's a great way to display a smaller dream board on a desk, and it's tidies it up a little bit. So that's an option for making dream boards. I also have, you can see them in the back, but I also have this one. And this is the dream board that I did last year. And so as you can see, I tend to not have a lot of white space on my board. I tend to put things very tight. I like to make it a work of art. So I like to start by, I'll move in a little closer. I like to start by having a center image that kind of represents maybe the year, like what I want to feel like that year. So this year was more about surrender for me. So I have a picture that looks like surrendering to the universe. I also tend to cluster, so it just naturally happens when I do a board. So I have this as more of like my work that I'd like to cultivate, and I use pictures and words. So like this for me is seminars and how to lead, doing things like that. And then this corner tended to be the more like mystical. I have a lot of animals, and so when I put animals on the board, I tend to look up what those animals mean in like a book like Animal Speaks or the internet. Like I'll type in like for this like whale spirit animal, and I'll read about that because I'm not sure why it wanted to be on there. I just put it on there. So I allow things to be on my board, and I don't understand them, but it makes sense, when I start to explore it a little bit more. I also put places where I like to travel. Went to Uluru this year. I put this on the board first. It wasn't even on my radar until a month or so after I put it on my board. I also have like living space. I still want to move to the countryside at some point. Camping, spending time with my husband, being out in nature, things like that. So you'll find that maybe you'll get themes and they'll want to be at certain parts of your board. Now I've tried to see if there was if there's certain parts that want to be in there year after year, and it doesn't, it changes. So I just kind of intuitively put my images down. So when starting your dream board, like I said, you'll want to find like a main image to put down. So this one, I don't know if I'll use, but this is the first one I found. So this, like I said, I like to use an image that represents how I feel or the central image of the year. So this one, storytellers, I like that. So I put that down in the middle. And then I'm going to design around that. I have a whole stack of images that I'm going to go through, and I'm just going to place on the board, and then I'm going to move them around. So I'm going to find that photos want to be clustered in certain areas, and then I'm going to put words with things. Sometimes I put the words in a different pile to start with, and then I'll put them on at the end. Other times I put them all on the same time, like I know I want to be on there. Like I said, I do put animal photos on there. Sometimes it's meant that I will go to a place where that animal lives. Other times it's just the symbolism of that animal, and like I said, I look it up. I also have not tended to leave a lot of white space on my board. I'm going to change that because a friend of mine was talking to me about that and thought it would actually be a great idea to leave a little bit of white space because it leaves the space for more possibilities to come through. So I've filled my board, but maybe I needed to leave a little bit for the unknown. So it doesn't have to be a big space, and I'm not going to leave a huge space, but I'm going to leave a little bit more than I typically do, which is very, very small. So I lay all my photos out. If you're going to put them in tight, then you'll want to lay them out as you'll want to lay them out, and then take a photo after you get them all done. So because it's a little tricky to lay things, if you layer and then have to glue, you have to move things around in order to do that. Don't be afraid to trim up your photos. Like I have this picture of a koala on there to start. I'm probably going to trim it up to where it's littler instead of having all this empty space, unless I want that empty space. So don't be afraid to do that. And like I said, do not be afraid to have people other than yourselves, and don't get hooked up to that. Like I have this picture, it's an older couple, older than my husband and I, and they don't look anything like us, but I'm still gonna put it on my board because that represents us. So think about those things when you're doing this. Don't get too attached to anything. And so once you get everything glued down, then sometimes I overlayer, so I'll like have a photo and it'll go over the board by like that much. I'll take a X-Acto knife when everything is glued down, and then I cut that edge off, and so the board is really nice and tidy. You're going to want to hang your board in a place that you're going to see it every single day. You put it in your bedroom, your office, your living room. Like I've displayed mine everywhere. So because we want our subconscious to look at that every day. We want our conscious self to look at that every day. So don't be afraid to display it, because doing a dream board really does work. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos, and I hope this has encouraged you to go out and make a dream board. This is my process, and everybody has one. Don't be afraid to experiment and step out of your comfort zone. Until next time, take care.